All right, so what we're talking about today is 55 and staying alive. And for my weekly lives, I've really felt more compelled to make this like a diary style of sharing what I'm doing and growing my YouTube and Substack here as well too. I really do enjoy with the 55 and staying alive theme of where it is that people are at right now. You know, what are you struggling with? And one of the things that I've enjoyed doing, if you haven't already been watching it or listening, is I get daily hits of what energies are doing. And I love making them in with a story format. So sharing a short story, what kind of come up. And of course, when you're doing things like this and in your creative genius, you're able to not just connect with who you are yourself, but I find that by doing this daily, it's what I'm creating for my own book. It's what I'm creating for what I want my YouTube to look like. It's creating all of these different kind of structures and doing it in a way that is in alignment with who you are and where you are right now. And as I've been chatting with a lot of clients and just getting to know people in conversation calls, a lot of them right now are really struggling with who they are and not knowing fully of where you are and who you are and the skill set that you've had in the last, like I'm 55. I have a lot of skill sets, and I've also realized that I've made myself very unemployable, being that the skill set that I have, it's hard to find a job to line that up with. There's a few jobs, there's lots of jobs that probably would be in alignment with it. But what it really comes down to is that at our age, in our 50s, we really need to lean into what are the skills that we've really honed, that we love to do, and to make money from that love. And what I've seen here in this 50 plus world is that people are pausing to try to figure that out. Okay, a lot of my clients, and just in the last 2 weeks, I would say that I've met, I've probably gotten on some calls with probably about, I'd say 5 or 6 people I've never even met before. And they're leading with the tools of how they help people versus really honing in on what it is, the transformation that they are here to do. Okay? And it really comes in here, and I've got crib notes here, so if I'm looking down, that's why. It really comes in here that the energy of today is we have gate 52, line 2, and gate 58, line 2, which is concern and perversion. So the one is the gate of joy, and the other one is the gate of mountains and staying still. And I think that this is where, in this weekly reflection on this kind of like diary moment that I want to bring in for people, is that the energy of just sitting still, like what they call it, mountain, just, kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have ever followed him or read any of his work or listened to him, but John Assaraf, he was in The Secret with like Bob Proctor and a few other people. And what he talks about is people always want to get to the top of the mountain, right? They want to get up and they do the work to get up the mountain. And he says the problem is that when they're climbing up the mountain, because they're so good at a variety of different things, instead of just pushing one round stone up the mountain, they're trying to push like 18 different rocks. And then wondering why they never get to the top of the mountain. Okay? And they get distracted by, maybe they had a rock and it was going well, and then they see another rock or stone and they want to move that one up the mountain too. And it's similar to that, this energy. And it's like, which rock do you want to push up the hill right now? I don't say push, but, navigate up the hill, up the mountain, so that you can actually sit and breathe, maybe sit on the rock, look out over the mountain view. And it's that kind of energy, right? And so this week in reflection is, and going forward, because we're kind of right into this energy right now, what is it that you really, really want to do? And I pulled in a lot of stories this week that I've had. One of them being, that I've been on 18 different medications in the last several years, and I've released them. I'm on 0 medication. And the thing is because I've really listened to what is my own personal diet and environment, and to push those rocks up the mountain to get the better view is to be in that right environment. Because which mountain are you trying to elevate, to push yourself up to, right? And especially in this 55 right now, just start speaking about what are your stories? What's your motivation? What brought you to where you are right now that you can share with other people? Okay? The tools that you have could be, like for me, I love personality work, I love human design, I love Zettelkasten, I love teaching and coaching and training these things. And I always say to people, by the way, I don't even consider myself like a sales coach, a sales mentor, even though I am. But I kind of like it to be more like a director of your own energy. When I had someone on my team years ago that, and at this point I was doing home parties, and I was a regional vice president within a company. And I had someone on my team really struggling with the sales. I'm like, well, it's pretty basic. Like, follow the plan, follow the structure of doing a party. And I'm like, what is it that you're doing that's not connecting with people? And so I asked her, I'm like, are you okay with me like coming to one of your demos to see? And the funny thing is that I can tell funny jokes. And it was, at that time, it was like a candle company. So I would make funny candle jokes. And when I went to her demo, she was using my exact jokes word for word, and they weren't landing. Like, the people were like, why are you telling that joke? That's weird, because these were people that knew her. And so that was one thing that I honed for her, is that you need to do sales in a way that's authentic to you. You need to do your voice, who you are. And then when you figure out who you are, right now, it could be figuring out what mountain is that you even want to climb. Do you want to be helping people and there's like five different things, right? Do you want to be helping people like in self-development? Do you want to be helping people in relationships? Do you want to help people in money? Do you want to help people in, the daily grind of stuff? What mountain is it that you want to set your flag on, that you want to speak from, right? And so that's what this energy right now is calling in. Pause long enough so that you know that what you're doing is correct for you, because having this first, really honing in on this, enables you to bring in your ideal person to work with you. It also pushes away the people who are like, oh my God, what is she talking about? She is on crack. I don't want to work with this person. And sometimes it's even in the voice. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I sure am. When I hear a coach, a mentor, a trainer, and I see their words, and I'm like, I'm interested. Then I hear their voice, and I'm like, oh, no. There's no way I would ever be in alignment with that person. And And I was recently on that actually. So last week I went into like a speakers thing, and it was really good content, but totally not in alignment for me. That trainer, that speaker, that guru, and it was kind of funny because she went from like a $27 offer to 35K. And she kept saying things like, I'm not here to sell you, but man, she was pushing the 35K. People were buying it, but I also noticed that there were people who had been following her for a while. They already heard her voice, they were in alignment with who she is, and that's okay. That was fine for them. But I realized her energy, I didn't even want to learn from. Okay? I'll continue to read. I'll continue to read what she has to say and probably follow along that way. But when it comes to who I want to help mentor me right now, where I'm at, probably not the person for me. Okay? Her voice was not in resonance with what my inner self was saying. Okay? And so it was the same thing with this gal. And when I pointed that out to her, I'm like, and her name was Mandy. I'm like, Mandy, I tell jokes in a particular way, and it is funny for me because it's my style, my voice. You tell the exact same jokes and it's not landing. I'm like, because you're a more serious person. So we just need to hone your talk into being more you. All of a sudden, she went from like literally, I don't even think that they were qualified shows. They were like way under the $200 mark. They were like even under $100. And when we honed this in to doing her talk according to who she was, she was pulling out $750,000 shows. And she was getting people going, yes, I want to host parties with you. And really take this stand. Think about which mountain it is that you want to climb. And to not be rolling up the mountain 18 different rocks that, if you run over here and you, like John Asford says, if you run over here and you start a rock and you got it going and you're getting into a flow, because that's the other flow. When you are working with your creative self, when you're in a flow of what's working right for you, people then tend to stop because they're like, oh, I gotta go and get that other rock. Maybe I gotta start working on that rock and pushing it up. And then they leave the one that they've been working on. They start with number 2 or they start with number 3, 4. I mean, we get distracted by all these different things. But it really comes down to what is your main rock that you want to hone the skills of. What is the main rock, especially at 55? You should know by now what your main rock has been in your life. You should know what the skills are that you are able to talk about for 20, like they say this all the time. What is it that you like to talk about for 20 minutes? I'm going to turn this one off. I have a couple of things rolling here, and I'm not liking this one, so I'm just going to turn that one off. But we hone in on these different things that might not really be us. And we keep wanting to go to I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to show you when it's like you don't set people up with the tools quite yet. You want to hone in on who are you? Who are you really here for? And then you learn to speak their language that sells. So just like Mandy, she was not selling proficiently when she was just using her language, or my language, pardon me. But when we honed it in on who is Mandy, why are you even selling candles? Why is it that you are even doing this? Like, what are your goals? What is it that you want? And when we kind of had that conversation, I'm like, Mandy, that's what you start talking about. I've earned many trips and many awards and things like that. And the thing is that when I then started talking to people about, this is what I want, would you like to help me? And maybe you have a similar vision. Maybe you want to travel too. You can get on this rewards as well. And that's what I'm kind of talking about today, is that I'm really feeling, my big thing is to give people an aha moment. So if you are, listening to this, if you are in the chat and anything that I'm saying is giving you an aha, please share it with me. Share me where this is like, oh my gosh, what she just said gave me a big aha. And stop leading with the tool that you have. Start leading with, who it is, who you are, and who you're here to serve. The step 3, speaking their language, is the tool. And when I was on a call with, I think there were people who also use human design as a tool, for example, and they're just leading out with this I'm a human design coach, I'm a human design blah blah blah, I'm a human design blah, blah, blah. But who is it that you want to use the tool to transform? That's your mountain. For me, it's people who are at 55 and are really trying to figure this part out. And maybe they want to do it by faceless YouTube. Maybe they want to be writing a book. Maybe they have left corporate like I did. And the working for someone else, I've made myself unemployable. And every time in the last year, my husband was diagnosed with leukemia last year, and I went down a rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, I need to get a job and this and that. And I really made myself unemployable because I look at some of these job postings, and I don't know what it is with jobs right now. Like, maybe it's just the Gen X in me. But I'm like, why can't you post a job that is, like receptionist? We're looking for a receptionist in a tire store, whatever it is. Instead, the post is like, we're looking for someone who can, do reception work, but also do the payroll and also do the accounting and I'm like, I'm not qualified for any of that. I don't even want to do all of that work for minimum wage. And then I'm like, well, what is it that I really do love? What is it that I've been doing for 20 years? And it's been people figuring out, knowing who you are, knowing who you're here for, and then speaking the language so that you get a yes. It's what I'm really, really good at. And in any job situation, I want to hone in on those skills. And maybe it could be like, like if you're called to be like a best receptionist in the world, then do the receptionist work. Putting people in with who they want to speak to, right? It's fine. And it's fine too that maybe you're just sitting in this, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go. So that's why I'm calling this today's episode here with being really 50 and feeling alive. Because are you feeling alive? Are you feeling that the knowledge that you've gained, that you're ready to share it? And it really is by, are you just continuing to play small? Are you continuing to maybe not own your worth? If you've been a Gen X, you've probably done a lot of different jobs, right? You probably have a lot of skill sets. And what kind of skill sets do you have? So one of my friends, we got some love there, thank you. What is it that you can bring right now that you could make some income from? Start talking about that. Don't lead with the tool. Lead with, I'm really, really great at this and I can help you. Right? And when we have that, so that's the energy this continuing week. This is my little diary that I'll be doing my weeklies on. And it could be on different days. I'm also very right brain energy, so it's got to be on, oh, I feel like I'm going to be going live today. That's why I never plan these things. It's just kind of like at least once a week I show up live. And if you happen to catch it, yay, kudos. If you want to ask messages or ask a question, do so. I will probably give you maybe a really good answer. I just never know what kind of goes on this crazy brain up here. But the more that I try to push the different rocks up the mountain, then some of those rocks, I'm like, man, they're just too heavy. I don't even want to push those rocks anymore. And I think that that's where you get to at this age. I turned 55 last year, and there were a lot of different rocks that I realized I didn't want anymore. One of them is that I can make crazy amounts of money for other people. And I'm like, I want to switch this into making that crazy amount of money for me and my family. It's a bit of a different rock. Okay? Same outcomes, same transformation, but instead of 15 different rocks, it's kind of like one, right? And when you settle more into that, it becomes more clear. As I've been doing my daily podcast now for, I think I'm on day, I think today is like day 28 or something like that. I've really been honing into stories, my own voice. I've been relaxing into it. And the more that you lead forth with your genius, all of a sudden it gets traction, connection. It'll hone in for me what my voice is really going to be like, even on YouTube, what's going to be attracting people over there. And by the way, it already has. Every time that I've done a live here on Substack, I've gotten over 10,000 views on YouTube. I didn't even realize it. It was kind of funny, actually, because I was like looking at stats. And every time you do a live here, it pushes shorts out to YouTube. And then I stopped doing it for a while, and I'm like, why is my YouTube not getting views? I'm like, oh, because I'm not doing the lives here. And so for me, this energy is very different when I'm on camera versus my daily stories that come through before anybody gets, before I become attuned to what's going on out there in the world. And my voice is very different on doing these two different modalities. I like them both. People get a lot of good knowledge from both. And that's what I want to continue to do and love. So if this is resonating with you, either give some hearts, give a share, just let me know what it is that you got from today that is an aha. And I will be working so for July, I talked about this energy that women are made a lot differently from men in our 90-day habits, where we work consistently for 90 days, and then we are actually designed to have a 30-day rest. We're not men can go on 90-day challenges and just go do. Women are vastly different. And so coming into July is my last 30 days. And then going into August, I go into preparation for September. But that's how women are designed, by the way. And so if you want to, connect with me, just let me know. I'll be sharing a link next week, and it'll be $100 is my monthly, I don't even call it a newsletter because you're getting it sent directly to you by snail mail. And it's $100 a month, but this is what I teach people. Who are you? Who are you here to serve? How do you speak their language so that you get a yes? And so this it's a monthly transformation, and I'll be sharing a link with you for those who want to. I think I'm going to be opening it up for the first 20 people. When you pay for that, you'll actually get a full hour with me first. So not only are you going to get a newsletter, but you're going to get kind of I want to meet with you. I want to know what it is that you are trying to do. You know, who is it that you're here for? And it's an assessment that I've done in the past, and people have gotten so much out of those assessments that it's worth the value of the $100. Plus, you'll get into the monthly newsletter, and then if it's not for you, it's not for you. It's as simple as that. So if you're staying stuck, if you're staying stagnant, if you're at 55 and you're into like maybe still 1 foot in the door of working your job, but you're kind of wondering, what am I going to be doing? That's the journey that me and my husband are on. You know, we're renting right now, but we want our own forever home. And that's the journey that I want to take people on. This is what it looks like at ground zero of being 55, and then really looking at your expertise and how to market it. And you're free to come along with me for the ride. So again, if this is resonating with you, if you've gotten some ahas out of today, because that's the other thing too, usually when people are either listening to me or in my presence, there's usually something that they go, oh right, I forgot about that, and then they go and do that. So just let me know what ahas that you've gotten out of today. And you know, if you are 55 and you are staying alive and you want to be more vibrant, you want your next 40 years to really be the song that you were here to sing, the music that you were here to create, the changes that you know that you're here to share. Your stories matter. Your voice matters. Just like Mandy, she was telling my weird jokes and they weren't landing because they're my weird jokes. I have this weird sense of humor. And when she found out what her voice was, she went from less than $100 doing her shows to $750,000 shows. Okay? And that's the genius that I love to bring out people. All right, so this is Jody Maley. You can definitely go and listen and subscribe to Grounds for Knowing. That's my little daily podcast where in the morning I just kind of, what's the energy of the day going to be, and I share that. And then on YouTube, here we'll be having like the weekly lives. And I will be sharing all sorts of stuff. The affiliate products that I love, that I use the most to move my business forward, why I love them, just really sharing in there what it's like being 55 and moving forward into what I want to create for the next 40 years of my life. And you can have this too. All right, take care for now. Again, if you've gotten an aha out of this, please let me know what it is. Bye for now.